Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lenore Makeup by Leo here on YouTube. If you are new to the channel, hi, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for returning and continuing to support my channel. I know it's been a few, I want to say a couple of weeks since I've filmed. I'm sorry if you hear my puppy barking in the background. He just wants attention. I know I said on my last video that I was going to shoot the video on the Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette, which was the Jaguar palette. The Jaguar palette that came in. They shipped it to me like 2 weeks ago and I did a TikTok on it, and that was that. I haven't filmed a video using this eyeshadow palette, so I will do a three-in-one look using this eyeshadow palette. Whenever I post a video on the 3 looks in one, there will be a giveaway on that video, so make sure that you stay tuned for the video on this eyeshadow palette. So for today's video, I'm going to be going through eyeshadow palettes that I think that you should use or pull out for the fall time. So we are transitioning into fall, so by the end of this month we will be going into fall, so in probably like another week or two. And I wanted to pull out eyeshadow palettes that I feel like you should pull out if you do have them, to use throughout, you know, the fall season, because I feel like makeup launches are just coming left and right, and I feel like if you have eyeshadow palettes that are already like fall inspired, then you should just pull them out and use them, because it's like you spend money on these expensive eyeshadow palettes and you don't really get to use them because of course you're trying to keep up with whatever is coming out. So I just wanted to get on here and talk to you about a few palettes that a whole lot of palettes. This is going to be more of a high-end. I will do a second video, a part 2 to this, but it'll be on drugstore and, you know, stuff you can find at Ulta. Some of these things you will be able to find at Ulta, but the majority of them will be Sephora or higher end where you have to order online. So just an FYI. For the first eyeshadow palette I'm going to be talking about this is what I used on my eyes today. This is the Too Faced Teddy Bear eyeshadow palette, and this is very fall appropriate. I feel like you have, you know, some neutral shades in here, a couple of neutral shades, and then you have more warmer shades, which I feel like these lead more toward the warm side. You have a gold here and then more of a bronzy gold. So this, I feel like this is a real nice eyeshadow palette to pull out if you already have it for the fall season. I feel like this is very everyday, neutral, warm eyeshadow palette. I feel like it's very fall appropriate, and I just love the quality of this eyeshadow palette. Too Faced doesn't have like the best quality when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, especially for their prices and what they charge for their eyeshadow palettes, but I feel like this one's definitely like worth the money. It's really tiny. It's just, I like this eyeshadow palette. I've used it, you know, a handful of times, so I think that this is great quality for the price, and I recommend it for fall. So pull this out if you haven't been using it. Now's the time to take it out. It's definitely fall appropriate. We'll go into Pat McGrath. So for Pat McGrath, if you have this little mini eyeshadow palette, I feel like this is definitely fall appropriate. You have, you know, eyeshadow toppers you can use. So if you know, do your eyeshadow and you want to just pop a little bit of an oomph kind of eyeshadow over the top, I feel like these are very appropriate for fall. Especially this green here, I feel like it definitely is fall appropriate. I feel like you can do like a smoky green eye and just pop this on the lid, and I think that it'll just bring the eyeshadow together, and it will be definitely looking good for the fall. I love this eyeshadow palette. I do use it. Amazing. If you have it, pull this out, use this for the fall. I definitely recommend it. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Rose Decadence palette. This is such a good eyeshadow palette. I've used this quite a bit as well, and I love the quality of these eyeshadows. I feel like these shades here just give off such beautiful pigmentation, just like this one, girl. Like, this is such a pretty eyeshadow palette just to have to, you know, create a simple eye look, or if you want to go a little bit more dramatic, you can. I feel like these eyeshadows are just really nicely curated into this eyeshadow palette, and I definitely think you should pull this out. If you have this eyeshadow palette, pull it out and use it for wintertime. It's like, the quality of her eyeshadows are so good. This is fall appropriate. These shades are definitely fall appropriate. You got your maroon here, you got, you know, a deeper dark brown shade here, you have this pop of pink. Maybe use it as a transition to this shade, but I feel like this is very fall appropriate. I feel like these shades are definitely fall appropriate. This is such a beautiful shade here. It has such a beautiful shift to it as well. This is fall appropriate. I feel like you should pull this out. If you have it, use it. It's expensive, so just pull it out and use it, girl. This is another eyeshadow palette that I definitely recommend you should pull out during the fall. A newer one to my collection is the Mothership HUETOPIAN Dream. Now this one, I feel like it definitely gives me a little bit more springtime vibes just because of the light purple shade in here. But I definitely feel like this one can be used for fall because, I mean, it's similar to this eyeshadow palette as well. Like, the colors kind of like go hand in hand with each other. But I feel like this shade and this shade here are definitely more spring appropriate, as well as this one. But I mean, you can create a more grungy look, you know, using the other shades in this eyeshadow palette. And I definitely feel like this is fall appropriate. This one has like such a pretty... This is such a pretty eyeshadow here. Like, look at this gold here. Like, oh my god. That is so stunning. Like, this is pretty for fall. Like, so this is another eyeshadow palette I recommend you pull out. If you did purchase it, definitely recommend that you pull it out and get some use out of it, girl. Like I said, these eyeshadow palettes are super expensive, and what good way to get some use out of them during the fall. I feel like you can definitely pull them off in the springtime, so I think I will be using this next spring. But for now, this is good for fall, you know, transitioning into fall. This is a good eyeshadow palette to, you know, pull out and use. Okay, so this is the Tom Ford Honeymoon palette. This is such a nice palette to use for the fall time. These are definitely fall inspired eyeshadows. I definitely feel like you can use these through fall and winter. Like, they're just, these two are just super deep, rich red toned brownish shades, and then you have your pops of gold and a little bit more of a champagne gold. So I do love this eyeshadow palette. This is a nice eyeshadow palette. These are on the pricier side. I feel like definitely you can use this one for fall, and you know, you'll get a lot of use out of if you're more of a, you know, deeper, richer kind of eye look kind of gal. So definitely recommend you pull that one out if you do have it. Okay, now moving on to Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, so this is the Queen of Glow eyeshadow palette. This eyeshadow palette is super nice, very well loved as well. Like, look at this eyeshadow, it's like literally falling apart. But as you can tell, these are like more like my go-to kind of shades. I love shades like this. Like, look at how pretty that is. So Queen of Glow, I definitely recommend you pull it out and use it for fall. I feel like this is such a pretty simple way to just go. Like, if you need to like get your eyeshadow done quickly, I feel like this is something you can use just, you know, to get a nice fall look if you're going somewhere and you just need something quick. I love these eyeshadow palettes for that reason, because you have what you need in such a small quad. This is the Dulce Vita eyeshadow palette. I feel like this is fall appropriate. You got the bronzy shade, you got a maroon shade here, you got more of a greenish brown shade, and then here you have a highlight shade. I feel like this is such a nice palette to use as well for the fall. I feel like I'm gonna be using more shades gearing towards this type of green during the fall, because I just love that eyeshadow. I just love that color. I feel like it's such a beautiful color. So now that we got these out of the way, we are going to be moving on to Anastasia Beverly Hills. I feel like they always do a good job when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. This one is probably not even available anymore, but if you do have it, I feel like this is a good eyeshadow palette to pull out for the fall. It has all the shades you need here for fall. Like you have, you know, all these shades. I mean, if you take out the blue and the pink, I feel like this is an eyeshadow palette you can pull off for the fall. I feel like if you have this eyeshadow palette, definitely pull it out. This is the Amrezy palette. I feel like this palette is amazing. The quality is great. I feel like the colors are so stunning. These are just very fall appropriate eyeshadows. So I definitely recommend you pull this baby out if you haven't used it in a while. This is a good palette to pull out for the fall. This one I have not used at all. This is a really new eyeshadow. Well, it's not new. I've had it for a while actually. I've had it for quite some time. This is the Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is such a pretty fall palette. Like, I definitely recommend this one, pulling this one out for the fall if you have it. I haven't used it just because I do have a lot of shades very similar to this eyeshadow palette that I don't find myself reaching for it, but I definitely want to get some more use out of it just because the quality of Anastasia is really good, and I feel like these are this is such a perfect eyeshadow palette. This is a perfect eyeshadow palette to use year round just because of the shades, but I mean, you definitely have your deeper shades for the fall. And then again, here with the gold, I love golds. So pretty on the eyelid, so pretty on the inner corner. I definitely recommend you pull this one out as well. This is the Modern Renaissance. This is an oldie, but this is definitely a goodie. This is definitely year-round eyeshadow palette, but if you haven't been using it, I definitely recommend you pull it out for fall just because you have your maroon shades here, you have some cool tone shades here, you have your everyday shades right here. But like I said, you can definitely deepen up the look using these shades here. So I do like this eyeshadow palette. I do use this eyeshadow palette. That's why I said, like, I don't really reach for this one because I already use this one. You know, like, I get my looks out of this one. But I definitely do want to reach out to use my Soft Glam more often. But Modern Renaissance, you can't go wrong with it, especially for the fall. Okay, and then for my last Anastasia eyeshadow palette, I do have the bigger ones, but I don't feel like I'm going to be pulling them out to use for the fall time. Maybe I will let you know in a future video if I've been using them or anything like that, but for now I'm just going with the smaller eyeshadow palettes. I feel like this is fall appropriate. Look at this. This is the Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette that she, you know, collabed with Anastasia. This is such a beautiful palette for the fall. I feel like, girl, look at these shades. They're so stunning. Like, look at the eyeshadows here. This is fall, warm shades. These are definitely summer as well, but fall shades, girl, right here. Boom, boom. You can take that pink out and you got a whole fall palette for you there. So if you do have the Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette, definitely recommend you pulling it out and using it, girl. Like, why not? You paid the pretty penny for it. Take it out and use it. Okay, we're gonna move on to Huda Beauty because, you know, Huda be doing her thing, girl. This is the Nude Rich eyeshadow palette. This is from Huda Beauty. This is fall appropriate, girl. Definitely look at all these shades. So pretty, so stunning, so fall, so me. I love warm, rich shades. This is the Nude Rich. So I definitely recommend you pull this one out if you do have it. It's one to just bring out and use if you do already have in your collection. The next one I'm going to be talking about is the Wild Jaguar. This one's more of a cool tone eyeshadow palette, but it's very fall appropriate. The shades in here, there you go. Look, there's another gold. You have this really pretty green shade. I just love this eyeshadow. This is definitely a color I'm going to be gearing towards. It looks almost like a black, but it has like a green shift to it, so I do like this eyeshadow. Very, very stunning. This is another fall appropriate. I feel like it's this one's very versatile. You can use it throughout the year as well, but this is the Naughty palette from Huda, and again, these are fall appropriate eyeshadows. Definitely one you should be pulling out if you do have this eyeshadow palette. Get some use out of it, girl. this is your time. This is your time to pull these eyeshadow palettes and just pull these out of your drawer and just use them. This is a newer one to my collection. I do have a dupe for it, but I don't really use it. This one is new. I haven't used it at all. This is brand new. She had a sale and her products were 50% off. All her makeup was 50% off, and I was like, girl, I need that. So I went ahead and I picked it up. This is the Desert Dusk eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. You guys, this is an old eyeshadow palette. This came out like a while back. Like, girl, I barely picked it up, but I do have a dupe for it that I found on Amazon, and it's definitely like similar to this one. I do recommend that you pull this one out and definitely use it. This is very fall appropriate. You have your warm shades, you have your purple shades, you have everything you need as well in this eyeshadow palette to create a nice warm eyeshadow look for fall. I'm telling you, girl, if you have these eyeshadow palettes, don't be wasting your money on whatever's new unless it's really worth it. Just pull out what you have and use it. Move on to KKW. This is one I haven't used in a long time, but this is a really good eyeshadow palette, and I definitely feel like it's fall appropriate. This is also good for summer because of the warmth this eyeshadow palette carries, but you have deeper shades in here to create a more fall appropriate look. So I definitely recommend you pull this eyeshadow palette out. This is definitely gonna be used this fall, and there it is, the gold. I just love gold eyeshadow. I feel like it's pretty. KKW is no longer up. I don't know when they will be relaunching their website, but I know for right now they are down. This, I did purchase this when the stuff was on sale and she was just like getting rid of all her stuff. I picked this up. This is gonna be one that I use in the fall. These are greens that I'm gonna want to use in the fall time because, again, greens are just gonna be on and popping this fall. I just feel it, like I know it. So this is an eyeshadow palette that I'm gonna be pulling out to use for the fall time. Very, very pretty green shades here to use in the fall. I love the olive tone this eyeshadow has here. Like, I just can't wait to use this eyeshadow palette. It's definitely new, but her quality is good, so I do love to use her eyeshadow palettes. I do have a lot of eyeshadow palettes from KKW, and I feel like KKW Beauty is a good brand. If you do have these eyeshadow palettes already in your collection, I suggest that you take them out and you use them because, I mean, girl, you paid for them, so use them. This one's no secret. I am still gonna use this for fall. This I purchased in the summertime. This is the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. This is a Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, and these are the shades. I love this eyeshadow palette. I do use this eyeshadow palette. I'm a warm neutral girl, so this is my go-to eyeshadow palette as of right now. So definitely recommend you pull this one out and use it. We're moving on to Natasha Denona. These are the palettes that I have. One of these is very, very new to me. I have not used it at all, but this one is one that I haven't used in such a long time. I used it a lot when I first bought it, but I haven't used it anymore, and I feel like this is the time that I'm going to be taking it out to use because of the yellows in here. I can use to create that transition shade to have like for the deeper shades that I do use like in my outer third and stuff like that. So I feel like this is such a good eyeshadow palette to pull out for the fall. This is an older eyeshadow palette, came out time back, and I feel like this is such a beautiful eyeshadow palette. It's so fall inspired. This is, you can use this as well as this in the summertime, but I feel like this is definitely fall inspired. This just gives me fall vibes. These shades here, fall vibes. If you have this eyeshadow palette, I definitely recommend you pull it out and use it. Natasha Denona has some pretty good eyeshadow palettes, and I recommend this one. This one's the one that's newer to my collection. I have not used at all, but I know that a lot of people love this eyeshadow palette. I bought it because it was on sale for $32.50 on the Sephora website. So This is the eyeshadow palette. I feel like this is pretty for fall. I feel like you can get away with using this eyeshadow palette for fall because of the deeper shades in here. Of course, the pinkier shades, you can just cover them up and there you go. You have a fall inspired eyeshadow palette. Definitely recommend Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. They're really, really good. If you have this eyeshadow palette, take it out and use it. It's a good eyeshadow palette to use for the fall as well. This is the new one. This is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. Now this one, it's not my favorite because I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gotten into like loving this eyeshadow palette yet. I've created, I think, 3 looks using this palette. I have not filmed any of the looks that I have created using this eyeshadow palette. This is very fall appropriate because of the cool mauve tones that are in here. I feel like that is definitely fall appropriate. I feel like this will be used through winter as well. I don't know how I feel about this eyeshadow palette yet, but if you do have this eyeshadow palette and you did purchase it when it came out, definitely pull it out and create some looks. Go ahead and like leave some comments down below if you have this eyeshadow palette and if you are digging it. I still don't know how I feel about it. I'm like on the like, did I really need this eyeshadow palette? So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know how I feel about it. But this is an eyeshadow palette you should pull out for the fall to get some use out of, because I feel like these are, again, the maroon grungy tones that you need. Now these are all different eyeshadow brands. These aren't gonna be all the same or anything like that. So these are just some that I'm just gonna go through quickly. This one is the Pocket Palette from Sephora. This eyeshadow palette was $10. It was affordable, but again, it's in more of a higher end store. So this is what it looks like. It's a little, it has the little rubber band here to keep it safe in the little pocket, but this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. It's mauve tones, purples. These are pretty for fall. This is a nice little compact palette to have just to create a little quick eyeshadow look, and it's only $10. If you have this eyeshadow palette, definitely pull it out so you can get some use out of it. It's cute, it's small, you can pop it in your purse or in your makeup bag, and you have a nice little purple eyeshadow palette to use for fall. This one I have not used. This is a brand new one. I've had it in my collection for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to using it. I just reach for other shades that I have like this in my eyeshadow palette. This is the Viseart, what is this? The Neutral Matte Eyeshadow Palette. So this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. It's very, very fall appropriate. Look at these shades. Very, very pretty. If you're an all matte kind of eyeshadow girl, this is definitely the one for you. If you own this eyeshadow palette, definitely pull it out and use it. This is so pretty for fall. I feel like this kind of gives me like Anastasia, Beverly Hills kind of colors. They definitely curate towards these shades here in the Anastasia eyeshadow palette, so I feel like this definitely reminds me of that, and I think that that's why.
Sorry, I'm having trouble.
And I think that that scared me. I think that I think that is why I don't really reach for this eyeshadow palette. Like, I haven't reached for it at all because I already have eyeshadows in this like color story that I don't really reach for it. But it's an all matte eyeshadow palette, and if you have it, definitely pull it out for the fall. This one is the Supreme Nudes from Artist Couture. I don't have his newer eyeshadow palette, but I feel like that one's definitely fall appropriate. You can use it for the fall. This one I feel like it's year round. You can use this eyeshadow palette, but again, with this green shade here, like, I feel like I'm going to be using shades like this throughout the fall. And then where you have your warmer shades here, so I feel like this is definitely fall appropriate. Pull it out if you have it. This is a nice eyeshadow palette to use for the fall and for everyday, just everyday natural makeup look. This is definitely an eyeshadow palette you can pull out and use. So if you have this eyeshadow palette, take it out, use it, girl. It's a nice eyeshadow palette, good quality, and I I like Artist Couture. I feel like their products are really, really good. This next one is from Melt Cosmetics. This is definitely a fall appropriate eyeshadow palette. I'm holding it upside down just because of the mirror. But this eyeshadow palette, I love this eyeshadow palette. I use this eyeshadow palette and I feel like my eyes always look really, really nice when I use this eyeshadow palette. It's so fall appropriate. The colors are just so pretty. You get such a beautiful look when using these eyeshadows. I feel like Melt does a good job with the quality of their eyeshadows. So I recommend that you pull this eyeshadow palette out and use it if you have it, because this is good quality. This is really, really good quality. And I just love the way my eyeshadow turns out every time I use this eyeshadow palette. So if you have, if you have this eyeshadow palette, definitely pull it out, use it, girl. You will not regret using it this fall because it's such a pretty eyeshadow palette. Now this one, it's not, for me, it's not so much a fall inspired kind of eyeshadow palette because of the lighter shades. But if you go ahead and just cover up those shades, I feel like you have some good cool tone shades in here, some deeper rich shades to use for the fall. If you're into using, you know, purples and blues for the fall, I feel like these are definitely fall appropriate. I feel like these are a little bit more springtime, summer kind of vibes, but I think you could definitely pull them off, especially this one for the fall. Like, I feel like this is a good eyeshadow palette to pull out for the fall. I do love this eyeshadow palette. The quality in here is amazing. And if you did pick these up when they came out, this is the Sydney Grace X Temptalia eyeshadow palette. She came out with different ones. She came out with the light and a dark set on each. I don't know how to explain it, but this eyeshadow palette, I mean, these eyeshadow palettes, if you did pick them up, definitely take out the ones that are more like fall appropriate and get some use out of them. I feel like these you should definitely take out and use for the winter time. I mean, for the fall season. And last but certainly not least, this is one that I feel like people have not talked about in such a long time. Okay, so this is the Tati Beauty Volume 1 eyeshadow palette. This is fall appropriate. Look at these fall colors. Like, girl, this is a whole fall vibe. I mean, you can use this definitely year round because of the shades here. You can definitely create more of a, you know, everyday natural look. But I feel like you got your maroons, you got your oranges, you got your browns, you got your blacks, you got the smokiness going on here, girl. Like, you can use this to create such beautiful fall inspired eyeshadow looks. And I feel like nobody has really been talking about this eyeshadow palette. I think that people do that a lot now because of the fact that, like, makeup brands are just launching eyeshadow palettes and makeup left and right, that like people are just trying to keep up with the trends. But if you have any of these eyeshadow palettes, I definitely recommend you pull them out and use them if you already have them, because girl, makeup is expensive. Like, not all makeup is expensive, but there's a lot of stuff that is super expensive that we purchase and we don't get to use because we use it once or twice and then we're trying to get onto the next thing that is coming out. And I feel like this is definitely the time to just start pulling out makeup that you have in your collection that you might want to get some use out of, because girl, it's expensive. It's expensive. You pay pretty penny for these things, and then to not get use out of them, definitely recommend you guys pull out these eyeshadow palettes, start using them if you have them. It's good to just get some use out of these products that you pay money for. So this is my little long video on eyeshadow palettes that I think you should pull out and use for the fall season. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if you are going to be using any of these eyeshadow palettes for your fall makeup this, you know, season. And let me know what are some palettes that you recommend I check out for the fall season. I do want to pick up that new Too Faced, I think it's called Cinnamon Swirl eyeshadow palette, but then I'm like kind of on edge about it because I'm like, do I really need it though? I don't need it. I know I don't need it, but I just maybe wanted to check it out. Let me know if you guys have tried that one and if you guys recommend me pick it up. But anyways, these are going to be some of my eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to be using for the fall. I will keep you guys posted in future videos on which ones I have been loving more, which ones I'm not so like crazy about and stuff like that. So yes, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will be seeing you guys on my future videos. Don't forget that I will be doing a giveaway on one of the Huda Beauty, the new Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. It's gonna be, well, I'll just wait till that video so you guys can see which eyeshadow palette I'm gonna be giving away. But it's gonna come with like the little fanny bag, like fanny pack, that's what they're called, right? It's a fanny pack and it comes with a liner and with an eyeshadow palette. So you're gonna be getting 3 products from Huda Beauty. That will probably be my next video, the 3-in-1 look and the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. So just make sure you guys stay tuned for that video. It will be coming soon. I know that I said I was gonna do it like since my last video, but I've had a couple of crazy weeks these past 2 weeks, so I'm just trying to, you know, get things back in order. And once things are back in order, I will be back and bringing you some more content, you guys. So I will be seeing you guys in my next one.